Where are you from?
I'm from the United States.
And what's your ethnicity?
Arab.
What Arab country?
Palestine.
Where in Palestine are you from?
Bethlehem.
Okay. And what's your religion?
Christian.
Have you ever been to Israel Palestine?
Yes.
Have you ever been to the state of Israel?
Yes.
Okay, so what would you like to say about Israel Palestine? Go ahead. Use TikTok for
I
me, please.
I wanted to ask you if you've ever watched the documentary Tintura.
Yes, I watched, but I don't. Oh my God, can't we talk about the new one? I watched the new one, No Man's Land. No, No Other Land. I'm so tired. No Other Land. I just watched that today. It's very good though. Did you see No Other Land? Did you see it?
No, it's hard to find an area where they're streaming it.
What do you mean they're streaming it all over America?
No, there's only 100 specific movie theaters that are streaming it.
Oh, that's a shame because they were showing in like a whole bunch of movie theaters here in New York. But that being said, I highly recommend people go watch it because it's very good. And for people who are saying it's propaganda, it's not balanced, it actually does show like the total picture. Um, but the thing about it is that unless you have no heart, you're gonna side with the people in Moscow Yalta. I mean, I sided with them even before I saw the movie. But that being said, when people say, "Oh, it doesn't," like yada yada, it does. But most of the people who are saying that haven't watched the movie. So, because it does, it says the Israeli side. It says why the Israelis their reasons for demolishing it. But anybody with a mind would think that their reasons are just not justified. So, like, yeah. So the pro-Israel people can sit there all day long and be like, "Well, they have this reason, they have that reason." But when you see these people there and you see what's going on, you can't. It's not justified. It's just not. So again, they give the reasons, but it's funny because a lot of pro-Israel people are upset when Jewish people are evicted and their homes are demolished, because that happens in the West Bank as well. But when a whole Palestinian village is demolished, villages, um, they just don't bat an eye, which I think is quite interesting. Um, but yeah, so it was very heartbreaking. I was like in tears of parts of it. It's a very heartbreaking film, but it's very good. And one thing that a lot of people on TikTok have been harping on is the friendship between the Palestinian and the Israeli. And if you watch the film, they really have a beautiful, like it's beautiful because they include a lot of that in the movie. It's really a beautiful bond, and with all this violence not accomplishing anything, this act of peaceful resistance. Listen, the night I signed up for the movie, Sunday night was sold out. When I went to the movie theater today, the whole movie theater was full. I think it was sold out today too. Like, it's gonna bring so much awareness and so much like I mean, it might not change things in Israel, or maybe it will. Who knows? Maybe it'll bring pressure. Who knows? But the thing about it is that this is an act of peaceful resistance that's really made a difference. You know, they won an Oscar. I mean, that's a big deal. Someone was saying on Instagram how a Pakistani film about women getting acid attacks won an Oscar years ago, and it changed the laws in Pakistan. So I don't know if it'll nudge Israel, but I really see this as an amazing, amazing accomplishment for the Israeli and Palestinian who made this film. And it was so. I'm telling you, the film is so well done. They like this is like I watch a lot of documentaries on Israel Palestine, and this film was very well done, very very well done.
Do
And
you think
consider the
it?
fact that they filmed it from like it's like they took films that they did, like the Palestinian guy isn't a professional photographer, but the filming, it's so well done. You have to see it. I can't describe how well they made this documentary. They did it very well.
Do you think Israelis want to live under one state with Palestinians?
No, of course not. I mean, unless it's going to be like the whole state of Israel, which it might end up being that way, because the Trump administration might put the green light on the West Bank being annexed, which means Israel might annex the West Bank or at least Area C, which I think, I'm not, I mean, I don't know for certain about this. I think if that happens, the Palestinians will become residents, not citizens. But putting that aside, and then the whole thing with Gaza, looks like Trump. I don't know if Trump wants the Israelis to resettle Gaza or if he wants the whole world to resettle Gaza. He said everybody's going to go there, which I don't know how happy Israel would be about that. But putting that aside, it just looks like it's going to either be the way it is now and the occupation just going on, or it's going to be a whole one state Israel. But it's definitely never going to be a one state Palestine. That's not going to happen. But I think the West Bank might actually get annexed. If the White House doesn't stand in the way of that happening, and Israel really wants to do it, then I think it might actually happen, at least Area C. And that worries me because I don't want to see that happen. I'm sure you don't want to see that happen.
Do you believe the 18,000 children that were unalived were...
I believe the numbers by age group. I don't trust age group to give me a weather report, let alone numbers of people who are unalived. I'm sure there were a lot of children that were unalived, but I don't know the exact number. So I don't trust age group. And
do you believe those children are war casualties?
What do you mean by? I mean, it's a you.
Everybody who's been unalived
in the war is a war casualty.
No, I'm asking if it's justified, as they are called casualties of war.
I don't like it. I hate it when you guys get up here and ask me questions like, am I okay with children being unalived? It's an insult to my intelligence, right? Here's the thing, right? In every single war, unfortunately, civilians get unalived. That happens in every single war. Why people think the situation in Gaza will be different is very bizarre to me because it's war, right? Unfortunately, it happens, right? So, I mean, I think, every civilian unaliving is a tragedy, but it's a fact of war. War is horrible and terrible and awful and tragic and sad. It's not a pillow fight. It's a war, So I don't know what people want out of war. I mean, war is not fun. War is terrible. That's why people try to avoid war.
So you agree they're casualties of war?
I mean, everybody who's been, even the soldiers on the IDF, like everybody who's been unalived.
What about the Bibas? What about the Bibas babies? Do you think the Bibas babies were casualties of war?
I mean, technically, they were hostages. They were unalived by age group, but they're also a casualty of this war. Yes. But they were unalived by age group. There's more context needed, right?
Okay, but there's context to the children, don't you?
Right. Okay, but dude, I'm not.
Don't you guys say they're used as human shields?
I just told you that the children weren't purposely targeted, and like, I hate to call them collateral damage, but that's exactly what they are. They're collateral. That's what the term is for those children that got unalived. They're called collateral damage.
Okay, but you guys also say the only reason they're called collateral damage is because
I don't want to keep debating the children. Like, I've been asked this too many times. Do you have another point? Because I know you're going to just try to make me sound like a bad guy. Like I'm okay with children being unalived. I'm not.
I just wanted to know where you stand.
No, listen. With all due respect, it's war. Listen. Age group should have never kidnapped anybody, let alone unalived anybody. They are a T organization, okay? I'm sure you wouldn't want your sister or your mother, or if you have a daughter, your daughter kidnapped by a T organization and maybe unalived by them. I don't think anybody in their right mind would want that destiny for their family members.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. So I think, honestly, I think, comparing the Bibas to something that was intentional, they intentionally unalived them with their bare hands, to someone.
I thought we were gonna stop talking about it.
Someone who was an accident, who was not purposely targeted. Yeah, it's like comparing apples to cucumbers. He left. I didn't drop him. He left.